Okay, here's the third batch feedback session. Apologies for fourth batch. If you need a feedback, do drop me a Facebook text, or we can do a quick catch-up session at footnote. Okay, I will kickstart the session with this image. It looks very promising. However, right now the subject, right, seems very lost within this vast space, this backdrop. So what I did, right? Okay, let me do the before after. If you press this one, right, under develop, you can see before after. So what I did first was to press Control left or right bracket. That will then rotate the image. Okay, let me just do, this is my before. You can see, right, after. So before and after, you can see the punch. The gold is much more prominent here. Can you guys see? Okay, let me just do a quick. Okay, the brown, right, is much more prominent here. The so-called the shine here, right? Let me just do okay, hold on. Okay, can you see that the shine here, right, is also much more gold? Here is slightly very muted. All right, so I did try to pump up the so-called gloss effect here, if you can notice, right? Then after that, I did a quick so-called slightly lower the exposure here, so that you can see the the subject itself is higher than the paper. Okay, what I did next was to control the sparkles. Those nearer to the bottle, I give it much more slightly higher exposure than the rest. The rest I just uh, lower the exposure more. Okay, so let me just do a quick fit. You can see, right, from the before and after, I control it so that there's more sparkle within here itself. All right, maybe the photographer wanted to capture the sparkles similar to how you see the starry night, and YSL is actually the moon. Alright, it can be as fairy tale as that if you want to. Just make sure, let's say for example, the subject itself must look like the original object itself. Try to, I don't have the actual object, but try to see what's the uh, so-called grade of the gold. So you can tweak the, right now I'm tweaking the vibrance to as close as to what the gold you want. All right. Let me just do a quick. Okay, hold on. Yeah. Okay, so you can see here, right? See here, right? These are all my clone brushes. Okay, oops. So I clone this here. I clone this here. I clone this here. I clone this side here. Okay, hold on. Let me just switch on my hold on. Okay, let me just show you where I mask. Okay, so this is the part where I start to do a quick mask. All right, I did a quick mask. I extend the contrast, sharpness I slightly increase. Okay, this is to exposure, I bring it down more. This is to actually darken up these edges, darken up this side here, and then to give it slightly much more darken edges here, so that when I press zero O again, right, this thing looks much more punchier, the gloss. Okay, let me just click this one so that you can see. Okay, this effect here, right, this masking here is actually to make it much more darker here. It's just that, remember all our AI exercises, we want to make it slightly darker. Okay, this one, right, if you remember the watch exercises, we want to capture that sharp plus effect. Okay, I don't have the raw image. If not, I can try to make it slightly much more sharper. The next thing that I want to share with this image is that you want to capture that really sharp spot. Maybe you want to duplicate here. Okay, you can straight away see, right? Let's say for example, if I have this effect here, maybe it's much more punchier. All right, But you can't do that in Lightroom. You need Photoshop for that. Okay, let me go to the next one. Okay, for this image, right, you need okay, let me just show you what's the difference. What I did here, right, is that I increase the contrast, I increase the vibrancy so that the object looks much more uh, so-called cherry a bit, rosy a bit, rose gold. All right. Okay, when you go in more, right? Let me just do a quick zoom so that you can see. Okay, hold on. Where's my object? Oops, hold on. Okay, I pressed the wrong button. Okay, so what I did here, right? Within Lightroom itself, let me just show you my. Okay, can you see this button here? So this is where I clone. I can click this, right? Let me just delete. Okay, now can you see the string? So what I did, right? Similar to Photoshop, I did a quick uh, clone. Clone will just clone. Heal, but it will retain the textures and then map it into the current object itself. For the string itself, right? I'm not so sure whether it's the string or what, but there's a lot of hairlines. Okay, all those hairlines, you can do a quick touch up in Lightroom, right, by using clone. But there's only so much you can do in clone, because why, the clone toolbar, you need to alter it, you need to edit it. Okay, so again, I did a quick clone to remove this. Okay, let me just show you a quick one. Let's say for example you have this item here, right? Let me try a heal. Okay, let's just take this guy. Okay, so now let's move it. Okay, it would take some time, because why, you need to do a quick eyeball. Okay, hold on, yeah, and then start to shift it. Okay, let's say for example you have that item there, right? Let me just click this one. Okay, you can do that. You can do clone also. Clone is also quite fast. Hold on, yeah. Okay, let's say for example here, clone will basically just clone. All right, you need to move your clone a bit, if you can see. All right, so move your, let's say for example where you are planning to clone it. Let's say I'm planning to clone slightly here. Okay, you can see a quick touch up here already. For this image, right, the photographer need to do a lot of post-production touch up, unless your intent is to capture this rawness effect. Okay, oops, hold on. Okay, let me just hold on, yeah. Okay, for this image, nothing much to comment. Okay, let me go to the next one. All right, for this image, right, the photographer, take note, let's say for example you are shooting such such cosmetic or facial care product. Because of the material itself, right, this is a glossy translucent material, so you want to capture a certain highlight. So right now, right, let's say, oops, here right now, can you see the difference between the before and after? So a quick, what I did here, right, is basically, let me just show you the, can you see? So this is my, okay, the one in red here, right, is actually my mask. So after I mask it, right, after I mask it, I will just do a quick hold on, yeah, I do a quick exposure. Can you see? So that will give the glossy effect to the cap. You need that. Remember our illustrator rendering. Let's say, for example, if it's a cylinder, right, you want to capture some tiny little highlight there to accentuate the form. It helps, yeah. If not, it will fall. I would say it will fall flat. Okay. And then for the photographer itself, hold on. Okay, you can do quick white balance if you want, or you can leave it cream. Just take note of this little detail, because why? When you put it into your portfolio, right, you can see the tonal value differentiate here. So you can do a quick mask and then alter the exposure or the uh, white here. Okay, can you see the difference already? Okay, let's go to the next picture. Alright, photographer, take note for this one. Let's say, for example, you intend to capture a slightly low key. Just take note that as a designer, after you design your packaging, you wish to have it quite prominent so that you can see. So basically here, right, what I did was just a quick, hold on, yeah, let me just show you. Okay, no. Okay, so inside here itself, what I did, right, okay, let me just delete so that you can see. Can you see what's the difference? So what I did was just a quick exposure change to bring the size on it. Alright, and then the so-called fonts here. And then the next one, which is this here, the Innisfree, I did a quick exposure also. Hold on, let me just click. Alright, a quick exposure so that the fonts, right, the copy here is much more prominent. Because why? uh yes, it looks quite nice in a low key, but right now it's kind of really fall really flat because the highlight, right, is not really uh obvious, right? It's blending in too much. So at times you want to make it slightly punchier. All right, the highlights you want to exaggerate it slightly a bit. Okay, just take note that, let's say, for example, if you do similar shoot next time, uh, first, always brand logo we want to see. The next one, if it's super volcanic pour clay mask, we want to see also. All right, if it's too dark, sometimes those with so-called difficulty in things, so-called those who have difficulty seeing can't really tell the text. Yeah. Okay, the next one. Okay, the next one, just to share what I did was a quick, hold on. Okay. Those of you who want to hide and unhide your overlay, which is here, you can press H. H will show. H will also hide. Okay, so basically, what I did was just a quick cloning and healing to so-called to so-called clone up the crease here. Okay, you can do that. It's just a quick one. Yeah. Okay, for this one, what I tried was just tight crops. Okay, the photographer can try some uh, crops. Which one? Maybe let's say for example slightly tighter, slightly looser. See which one exaggerate or which one emphasize the subject more. Okay, the key thing is that we want to sell the rose. Sorry, is this the rose? Yeah, we want to sell the flower. So the flower must be the main subject itself. Okay, this one. Okay, this one, right? What I did was I exaggerate the rims here. I exaggerate a certain highlight here. I exaggerate the edges here. Exaggerate the folds. And then I darken out the back. Okay. So how I did that? Okay, let me just do. Hold on, yeah. Okay, this tool overlay, so I'm not using any of this. Okay. So you can see here, right? Let's say if we do this, let me just go on top. All those which is painted in red are where my exposure is being pop up. Hold on. My contrast, sorry, my highlights, my shadows pop up slightly a bit, so that you can exaggerate this point. So let's say for example, let's do a quick zoom. Can you see a slight different here? Alright, just slight different here at the rims, at the rims here, at the rims here. You okay at the rims here, so that it's slightly much more punchier. You do the key thing is that you do not want your photos to fall flat. That's all, yeah. Okay, here what I did was to control the background a bit. Yes, I still want to have some folds. Maybe I do not want to show every single thing. Alright, because there's too much folds, it's taking away the attention of the subject itself. So what I did was to select, alright, and then drop my exposure and contrast. Okay, next one. Okay, for here, right, what I tried was to play with the contrast slightly with the highlight, shadows, and whites. Because why? Again, as I mentioned, the photos for the before, right, falls a little bit flat. Okay, always take note. Previously DTR we shared some artists. All right, let's say for example artists such as the Karis Kuros and all. Take note how they make use of tonal values. Okay, so at times with such images you want to exaggerate slightly a bit. Yeah, just take note this portion here, right, is out of focus. The only thing which is focus is this small little portion here and this portion. So maybe if you have a few shots of the iPhone, right, you can do a quick digital compose. Because why? You want to tell because the idea of this shot, right, is not the bouquet effect, it's not the shallow depth of field too, right? We want the right exposure. We want to shoot at f8 where everything is clear. All right, everything is in focus. Okay, try that. If you do not have, just leave it as it is. Okay, the next picture. The next picture, what I did was, to me, it feels slightly a bit weird here, if you can see. Yeah, especially this portion here, and then if I zoom in more, right, can can you see the line work, right? It's not really smooth. So for the photographer, okay, for the photographer, do check your raw image again. Did you accidentally cut too much details? That right now, right, it looks really floating. Okay, for this image, right, I was trying the filter. So let's say, for example, shows oops, can you see the one in red, right, is actually my gradient filter. Okay, this image I don't have anything much to say. It's nicely captured. Alright, it's nicely shot. Because right, with the same image, right? Now I hope that you all can see there is certain images that looks that goes well with high key. There are certain products that goes well with a low key. Electronics item tend to work well with a low key. Alright, you can see a low key with one light, right? It give out a nice texture. Alright, because why, the light is coming through the leather texture, right? There's nice detailing there. You can see the nice highlight at the wires here. Nice highlight here. Okay, to me this is well done. All right, you got a good highlights, good shadows. Okay, you might want to keep up the same level if you intend to shoot another low key. Okay, for this shot, right, what I did was I play with some of my white balance, because why, this image, right, uh it feels very it feel very it feel to me it feels very cold. All right, for certain porcelain, right, maybe you want to throw a little bit cream, right, to give it a slight warm pinch. For this I can't really play much. Let's say, for example, if I want to push up my oh, undo if I want to push up my values higher, my exposure alert, right, will just uh, highlight the tape, which is right now currently, let's say, for example, color picker, it's already pure white, which is 100 100 100. Okay, so let me just do a quick undo. Yeah, so what I did was I tweak it to give it a much more a warm cream tint. All right, so those are my feedbacks. I hope you learn something from this product photography in the studio. Always remember, measure. All right, do not be complacent. Okay, try with the studio, right? You want to sing that light, right? So you need to shoot it at 1/125. That's the syncing speed. The next one, we want every single thing without, let's say, for example, shallow depth of field. We want f8, where the background and the subject is all focused, right? It's all clear. There's no so-called bokeh effect also. Then the next one, ISO, right? Keep it 100 to 200, unless, let's say, for example, you want to drop your so-called aperture. Let's say, for example, your aperture is stuck already, right? But you want to go slightly lower. Maybe then, right, you can compensate with an increase or decrease one stop value in the A, shutter speed, B, ISO. Okay, play with these three elements, which is the aperture, uh, shutter speed, and then ISO. But take note, ISO, you don't want to have it too high. Okay, that's all from me. Okay, I hope you enjoy the lesson.